salute to our sponsors, Stella Artois and Tide. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide. Joining us now here with the World Cup coming up this summer, one of the greatest U.S. soccer players of all time. Started several World Cup games in the 90s and 2000s. Four-time participant. Played professionally in the top leagues in Europe before finishing his career with 3 seasons in MLS for Seattle. The professional athlete who, to this day, is most mentioned in my household when I'm hanging out with my dad and my brother, talking about sports and talking soccer. Can you get this microphone on over here? As also sports commentator, and he's joining us today to talk about his diagnosis and journey with non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Announced this morning, Kasey Keller with us here on The Fan. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
So, yeah, let's start there.
Okay.
Quite interesting when I Googled you this morning to get the very latest here.
It got a little weird.
And this goes back to your playing days?
Yeah. So when I came home from Europe, I signed a 2-year contract with the Sounders. So for 2009-2010 season. At the end of the 2010 season, I was in really advanced contract talks to extend for a year. But I was having an issue at the end of the season with my hip. And what I didn't want to do was play a 20th season and spend all that time on the treatment table because I had a big hip issue. So I just said to the team, let me go get an MRI. Let me check on the hip before I sign the contract. I go in, I get the MRI. My wife and I go to lunch, get a phone call from the team doc about 2 o'clock. And he's like, hey, Kasey, just want to let you know, your hip looks like what we would expect from a 41-year-old with 19 years of professional experience and 700 matches. But have you had lunch yet? And I said, Doc, I've had a lot of MRIs, and nobody's ever asked me if I had lunch yet after one. He said, well, we saw something on the MRI, and if you hadn't had lunch, we wanted you to go back to the hospital for a biopsy. But since you have had lunch, you're scheduled for 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. You're like, yeah, that can't be good.
Jeez.
So get the biopsy, wait the 3-4 days of pathology, and confirm that I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And meet with the oncologist. Oncologist says, look, my suggestion is we just monitor this. You're asymptomatic. We found this because of something else. Let's just see what happens here. I said, but the problem is, I can't sign a new contract without telling the club. Right. I said, you don't have to. HIPAA, I said, but I can't. Ethically, I just can't do that. So we basically told nobody. We told the owner and the president of the club. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell my kids. Wow. It was just this idea of not knowing when or if, more when than if, but treatment. It was, in the end, it was 8 years that my family didn't have to worry about something that they didn't know to worry about.
Wow.
So I went to preseason. I had a test after preseason to say, okay, you can start the season. I had a test halfway through the season if I could finish the season, finish the year, went into the broadcast career. And then it was about 2017, fall, winter, where, like a lot of us pro athletes, when we're not doing the training the way we used to, maybe gained a little weight. The suits were a little tighter than they should be for the broadcast. So I said, okay, I got to pick up the pace here. I got to get fit. Hunting season's coming, snowboard season's coming. I got to get this going here. So started losing some weight. Thought, yeah, that's pretty good. Started losing some more weight. Kind of went, that's a little too easy. So Christmas comes, and I'm eating everything in sight. And I'm still losing weight.
Wow.
And then it really was February where it came to a head. I'm getting out of the shower, and my wife is like, you need to call the doctor. The lymph nodes in my groin looked like they were going to come through my skin.
Jeez.
And so, call the doctor. Yep, time to start treatment. So, I have a treatment, and I'm fully expecting, with the success that I had as a player, that the doctor was going to tell me, these are the best results we've ever seen from any patient ever.
Yeah.
And it was exactly the opposite. It was, well, we had a little movement in this, and then that started a crazy process of zero success, some success, really good success halfway through a treatment, to being reversed by the end of the treatment.
Oh, jeez.
So in the end, I had 13 different treatments.
Jeez.
One of them, the nastiest one I had, was right when COVID kicked off. So I thought I was going to have to go public because I was starting this 96-hour continual chemo drip.
Wow.
And it was supposed to be inpatient. But then they kind of kicked everybody out of the hospitals. So they said, we're going to do this outpatient with, I was bringing back the fanny pack. I had a pump and a 24-hour chemo bag. And then every day I'd go back to the hospital to get the new chemo bag. Well, MLS had restarted in their MLS's Back tournament in Orlando. And we were calling the games for radio out of the Lumen Field broadcast booth off a monitor, and I actually called the game while connected to chemo.
Wow.
So that was pretty wild. So then
Unreal.
So then that treatment finishes, and again, really good success to then no success. Well, basically why I'm partnering with Bristol Myers Squibb for this drug Breyanzi is it just gets FDA approval, and I'm one of the first people to get this drug FDA approval. Now, if you don't know anything about CAR T cell therapy, it's pretty wild. So you go through apheresis. So they spin your blood, they take out the B cells, blood comes back in. Those B cells go to a lab and get engineered, and then they get reinfused back into your body, and they target the specific cancer.
Wow.
So I went from 13 treatments, different treatments with mixed success, to 1 month post-Breyanzi remission, 3 months NED, no evidence of disease.
Wow.
And that was the spring of 2021.
Wow.
Incredible,
Wow.
man.
Congratulations.
Thank
What
you.
a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And today's the first day you're
Today's the
telling
first
the world
day
about
I've told the world about it.
Wow.
Incredible.
How did your family react when, like, yeah, I've kind of known about this?
In the 8 years, my mom
Yeah.
wasn't very happy. Dad got it. Dad was kind of like, okay, I get it. My mom wasn't happy, but I think in retrospect, look, it was 8 years. They didn't have to freak out about something that was nothing that we didn't know about it. And the other thing too was I didn't want to finish that 20th season with everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you going to be? Are you? Yeah. And then the other side of it was, and I didn't know when I was. My wife asked the doctor, "Is there a chance that he won't ever have to have treatment?" He said, it was truly, Dumb and Dumber. So there's always a chance.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance. And it was the one. Yeah, it was the one in the million, which clearly wasn't going to happen. But it was that other side. Somebody at the grocery store asking my wife, "Hey, how's this treatment? Is it working? Is it that not?" And I just thought, there's enough fishbowl as a pro athlete and what my kids and family had to go through. They don't need to deal with this either. Wow. So, and then I also felt weird later of, guess what I had to go through? So to be able to partner with the company that developed the drug that got me to this point, to really spread the word and just tell people to be that advocate for yourself. No matter what roadblocks, what treatment doesn't work, talk to the doctor. Say, hey, what's new? What's happening? What can we do? Where can we go? Because
let me get some Breyanzi.
Yeah, you're not hurting anybody's feelings.
Yeah.
So if you're going through, some blood cancer, look, go to, BreyanziWithin.com. Talk to your doctor. See if that's something that can work for you. Because I'll tell you, I did everything else, and this is the one that got me to the other side.
The great Kasey Keller here with you on The Fan. So that's a decent segue into the U.S. soccer program, trying to get to the other side of group play this summer. How do we do that? How you feeling about them?
I'm feeling much better the last couple camps than I did for the 8 months before that.
Yeah.
So, like anything, when you come into a tournament, it doesn't matter if it's the later half of the NFL season, the whatever it is, you have to be peaking at the right time.
Right.
It has no. The U.S. having a great last summer would have meant nothing.
Right.
Okay, they didn't have a good. Maybe it would have given us a little more, feel good. But so much of it is going to matter these next 4 months. What the core of our squad is doing for their club. Are they fit? Are they in form? Are they peaking at the right time? Are the stars going to carry the team? Is there going to be a few guys that we go, where the heck did that come from?
Right.
We didn't see that. You need all that stuff to come together. And like I said, I'm a little more optimistic after what I saw the last couple camps.
Favorite memory of playing, I think in our household, it's freshman year. You came out and destroyed a UCLA striker in a one-on-one in your guys' march to the Final Four. My brother's always telling that story and inspired him.
So that picture,
yeah,
and that I'm in a Hayward Award, the Oregon Athlete of the Year Awards, and I'm sitting next to Rich Brooks. And because one of the U of O football players or something was up for the award but couldn't make it, and he watches that hit, and he goes, and he's watching me catch some things. Yeah. I could have made you into a tight end.
Yeah, no doubt. How about farther on? Like, is it the draw against Italy 1-1?
That's for World Cup, and then the Brazil match in the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
Was the one that always comes about, and it's still the only time the U.S. has beaten Brazil. And I think the one thing about that is, so often as a goalkeeper, you have your best games and you lose 2-3-0 because your team just gets crushed so bad.
Right.
But when you have those rare occasions where you're playing against a great team and your performance helps your team win, as opposed to just having this great game and keeping it from losing 6-0. So those are the ones that are special.
What can you tell us about? Sorry, Brian. One more. One more. What can you tell us about playing for Millwall? Because I think you wrote a college paper about their fans.
Millwall versus West Ham.
Oh, that is ill. If you've seen Green Street Hooligans, you know exactly what it is.
Blowing bubbles.
And I was part of, when my first season at Millwall, full season, West Ham were in the championship.
Yeah.
And so we had a couple of those matches, and it was helicopters circling the stadium the whole time, mounted police everywhere. Yeah. And I didn't really, I think, appreciate the history of Millwall until I left Millwall, because it was my first club. It was all I really knew. And I remember I'm at Leicester City, and I'd maybe been there for 4 months. We're coming back from a road trip, and some of the players started asking me about Millwall stuff. Yeah. And he said, have you ever been in a pitch invasion? And I was like 3 a season.
Yeah.
And to me, it was so normal.
Wow.
I had never been in another one after I left Millwall.
Right.
And it was just, we're playing a cup game against Southend, and ball's at the other end, and I'm standing at about the top of the 18, and I see something out of the corner of my eye. A huge fight had kicked off on my left. And the Millwall fans are fighting the police, and everyone's diving in. And so then I see something out of the corner of my right eye, and I look over. There was a Millwall fan in the main stand who wanted to go get in the fight. Yeah. So he jumped down, ran across the pitch, kind of came across me and was like, all right, Kasey, how's it going? And then runs across and goes and just punches this cop in the back of the head on the fight over here. And then a boom, boom, boom. And it was, the things that you saw were just like, wow.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. When I was going to ask you the wildest setting you've ever been in an international match, where and hear you tell this fascinating story about your health. Yeah. And I was going to phrase it in a way of, like, where you didn't think we were coming out of this one alive. I was going to phrase it that way, and then you tell this incredible story. But was you ever standing there and you're looking and you're just going,
there's stuff that you
we're not getting out of here.
World Cup qualifiers against, in the 90s. Yeah. In places like El Salvador. Yeah. Where the pitch is truly surrounded by guys with machine guns.
Yeah.
Jeez. And you're like, I think they're here to protect us. I'm not so sure what the scoreline is, if that's going to be the case. So, yeah, it's you really, but then it was really Korea.
Yeah.
In 2002, because it was, the summer after 9/11.
Right.
And in all that discovery, they found out that we were on an Al Qaeda hit list in '98.
Jeez.
In Paris.
Wow.
And so security was crazy. And one of my teammates played for Uruguay, and they were at the training complex that we were coming into. And he tells me later, he goes, who cares about Uruguay? They got like a dog and like one policeman.
Yeah.
And we've got just SWAT teams.
Yeah.
But what really put it in perspective is in World Cup training complexes, you have two pitches. And a lot of times the team is on one side, the goalkeeper's on the other side, and then we come over and join the team when there's a reason to do so. Well, there's a guy sitting on a little stand on a laptop the whole time. And so we had a little time before we were going to join the team. And I'm like, what are you doing on the laptop? And he says, you see that post on both sides of the pitch? You see that little silver ball on top of it? Yeah. Those are chemical and biological weapon sensors. And I am monitoring it on the laptop the whole time you're training to know that if something comes in, we can get you in the buses and out before. But we had this crazy SWAT team from the Korean SWAT team, and we had the best gym in our hotel. And so when the SWAT team had the downtime, they would work out. Well, there's no weapons in Korea, so it's all hand-to-hand fighting.
Right.
So the SWAT teams are crazy. So the SWAT team leader was this guy who's about 6'3" and just jacked. And so they're in the gym, and some of the other SWAT guys were like, hey, he's going to work out. You want to watch this? Yeah. And we're like, okay. So he does two things. He gets on a pull-up bar. Yeah. He does pull-ups for 5 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
Flips over.
No.
Upside down gravity boots and does sit-ups for 5 minutes.
What a freak.
Inverted.
Lord.
And we're just like going, wow, I'm glad he's on our side.
That's the most impressive thing you'll see in a gym.
That's the most impressive thing you will ever see in a gym.
That's incredible.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
We're getting to wrap it up, son. Kasey, thank you so much for blessing us with your time and your stories.
Thank
it's been
you.
an honor and a pleasure. Go get some Brianzi.
BrianziWithin.com. Have a look at it. See if it's right for someone going through the fun stuff I went through.
Good luck to your Seahawks.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There he is, the U.S. soccer legend, Kasey Keller, with you here on your home of the Cowboys and Texas Rangers, 105.3 The Fan.